See, there are a few passions I have. I think I'm a little too young to have a complete vision on what I want from my life, but there are a few passions that I wish to follow. First is I really want to be involved in the field of education, and through education, if I could, in my own modest way, be an inspiration to those that face a crisis of confidence. I would like to do that too. Hopefully, tell them that this journey is occasionally long, but it is possible to achieve success. So education is one, and second, I would really like to focus on the empowerment issues of women with specific focus on creation of employment. So I have these two passions. I hope I can make them a vision in the future, but for now these are my guiding forces. 2 decades is a slightly long time, but I have targets for the next 5 to 10 years that I've set. First is to educate myself more on the issues that surround me. So I would either academically try to get I'm just a bachelor's degree, I have to confess. So I hope to get a master's degree and a PhD in the next 5 years in social services and issues of that nature. And in the next 10 years, I hope I can create a critical mass for either candidates or students coming from disadvantaged communities so that they can go back and inspire their own communities in terms of competitive success at government jobs in particular. So these are my two goals for the next 5 to 10 years. First statement I'd like to make is that this particular exam that I have taken is a highly uncertain process. You never know which year is your year to succeed in. So often the only choice a candidate gets to make after having put in the requisite amount of hard work is to persevere, to not give up. That was a very important choice I made a year ago. I have been selected to the railway services earlier. It was, in full honesty, a very disheartening experience to not top the exam the way that I wanted to. But I decided that it will happen. I just have to keep trying hard. So my only message to candidates that face the process like me, I hope most of you get selected in your first attempt or second, but if it doesn't happen, don't give up along the way. Success will not come to you if you withdraw from the process. Keep trying hard and it will be rewarded in the end, and I am a good example of that. I myself have taken a slightly longer route to succeed, but it has come my way. If I had withdrawn from the process earlier, I would never have got this attention or got this opportunity to talk to people the way that I want to. So that's my message. Keep trying hard and don't give up. This is a very customized process. First thing that anyone getting into this process should know is know yourself. How much can you study comfortably? What are your strengths? What are you good at? Do you like mathematics? Do you like statistics? Do you like social science? Don't get into this process because someone else has asked you to do it, because you just see someone on TV and you think I should do it too. No, you should know yourself well. Why I'm saying this is because I only studied for about 4 to 6 hours a day, because that's all that I could study with my full mental capacity. So I would suggest every candidate to see, if you can study 10 hours, brilliant, nothing like it. If you can study 20, even better. But if you can only do 4, make sure that those 4 hours are quality study hours. That's enough. Don't try to be someone to just sit in your room all day and say that I'm studying. The 4 hours that you study, are you understanding what you're studying? Are you able to really analyze what you're studying? Are you able to recollect and reproduce? These kind of things are more important. So in a simple sentence, quality is far more important than quantity.
Now, you said that a person should know about himself. So, what are the characteristics a person should have to understand? Because most of the students today don't know about themselves. So, is it the percentage of marks that matters, or is it the capacity to memorize things? So, how can a student know that yes, I'm a fit for IAS or civil services and I can give it a try?
This is a misconception that the exam requires extreme amount of intelligence or memory. It does not. I think if there's one attribute this exam requires, it is spontaneity and common sense. Most of the exam can be tackled just by thinking on your feet, if I could use the English phrase for it. That means always be ready with a response. You don't need to work very hard, you don't need to be super intelligent, but you need to be very creative with the exam. So attributes that I think are very necessary for a student are, of course, intelligence up to a particular level, but beyond that, like I've just mentioned, perseverance. And third, spontaneity and creativity. And these traits can be cultivated, by the way. If you don't have them today, I myself am not a very hard worker. I wasn't before the exam. I've only become a very hard worker in the last 2 years. So you can become something that you're not. Initially, if you don't have these traits in your personality, don't worry. But if you want and ultimately to be an IAS, an IAFS or an IPS officer, cultivate the traits, because end of the day these traits make you a better person also. The exam is just about a job, if I could put it that way, but if you can become a better person at the end of the process of civil service examination, it's a far more rewarding experience. Sir, I have never taken coaching or gone for a coaching center, the traditional coaching center. So most of the material that I have got is through internet, Wikipedia, YouTube. So in that sense, I'm very self-educated, and I've stayed in touch with my peer group. I was, again, like I said, selected to the railways 2 years ago. So we had a group of students that was preparing for the exam. So we would stay in touch using Hangouts or Facebook, and we would discuss our answers, etc. Not a leveling experience, but technology is a very expansive experience. It can broaden your horizons. You don't have to rely on your immediate support group. You can see what someone in Delhi is doing, what is someone in Chennai preparing. So you know your competition, and the access to resources helps you really understand an issue in a multifaceted way, because you get multiple opinions on the internet. But having said that, you should have some degree of care when you exercise your use of the internet. About 1.5 hours. Don't get so lost in the internet that you neglect your core study and your core subject. Use it as an additional tool. Then it's very useful. Sir, victimhood to me is a very strong word. I would prefer not to use it. But there is a certain degree of perceived bias. And maybe some of it is true, but I personally have not faced much of it in my life. But if there is perceived bias, the best way to correct it is to come out, compete on the level playing field. Merit is not denied in this society by anyone. Any candidate with merit is seeing success, and especially if I can talk in limited terms about UPSC. UPSC is an extremely fair, extremely transparent process, but if there is a certain fear that candidates have that I might face bias, get rid of that fear. Get into the field and compete. You will see that no one is denying you your position if you have the merit. But without merit, if some candidates only want to complain, saying ki ye hoga nahi, I cannot do this, I don't believe in that. Standing on your own 2 feet is a choice that you will have to make. After that, no sir, I believe very strongly in the backbone of our country. I do not believe that there is any real bias that any candidate will face. Not just on religion, but on caste and other issues too. I don't believe in bias at this level. Sir, I myself am an engineer. Before starting my UPSC preparation, I did not know so much about my country, my government, about the world. This knowledge that UPSC gives you cannot ever be taken back from you, regardless of if you succeed only in the exam. You learn about your political system, your geography, your history, your culture, about world politics. So much is what you learn. Your perception on the world changes, and that is something remarkable for a citizen in our world today. Success at the exam, if it happens, it happens. If not, it's fine. But I have to make an important point here. Recently, in the last year, UPSC has started to publish the marks of candidates who have made it to the interview, 3,000. Their focus is on telling employers that even if we have not selected him, he has these attributes. To come from 6 lakh people to 3,000 itself is a very big deal. So other employers now can go to the website, check which subject the student has done well in, and headhunt him. Because I can assure you that having taken this process of examination and preparation, the private sector will go head over heels to employ you, provided we can get like a certification course or a way to quantify your skills. But this broad-based knowledge that is acquired is very valuable to a private sector employer. So if not here, you can succeed there too. So don't worry about it. If you can approach this exam, I understand that some candidates have financial constraints that they cannot pursue beyond a particular level. So you be the judge of that. जहाँ तक आप कर सकते हैं करिए. Don't push beyond that level. But the actual process of examination, when it comes to knowledge acquisition, etc., is invaluable. You can't put a price on it. And secondly, if you don't see success in 2-3 years, I want to put out the statistic that most candidates on average today are preparing for 4 to 5 years. First timers also have prepared from their first year of engineering. That's why they're seeing success. Don't be under the assumption that ek saal mein nahi hua to kabhi nahi hoga. No, it is a long process. Since the pattern has changed in 2013, the syllabus has become so vast that you need to put in more than 3-4 years of study. So it takes that much time to succeed. Don't be in a hurry. It is very possible, sir. Most of us that have worked, look at rank 3, Gopal Krishna, look at me, look at all the other toppers this year. Most of us have been working. We have not just been studying as students. So the average age of a candidate has gone up to around 30 in this exam. So some of us are married, luckily not me, but some of us are married and some of us are working. So we've only been able to take out 3-4 hours ourselves from our schedule. It's enough. It's more than enough. But quality, only focus on quality. 4 घंटे में am I studying to the optimum level? So you can easily crack this exam if with 4 hours of study. I actually think that working is an advantage because the level of maturity that you get having worked is a huge asset at the interview stage, at the main stage. So I would not view it as a disadvantage at all. I think it's a huge asset actually. When you say private sector employees, would they come in? I think they should come in because I'll give you a simple statistic. 3-4 साल लगते हैं to crack this exam. But after cracking the exam, for 30-35 years, your life is largely taken care of. You can do your job and pursue your interests on the side. I worked in the private sector for a little while. My impression of the private sector is it's 35-36 years you'll have to work very hard. Instead of that, why not put in 4 years of effort now and have a fairly relaxed life? So this, I think, should motivate more people from the private sector to come into the government service. I'm not trying to degrade the private sector, but most of us want to have a comfortable life so that we can pursue our passion, spend more time with our family. No job offers this more than government service. So I think that should be an inspiration for more candidates to come into government service at all levels, not just this. Write your bank PO exams, write your group 1 exams. Civil service is just the apex level. If you get here, that's fine. But there are about 30,000 jobs that are advertised by the central government and about 1 lakh jobs advertised by different state governments every year. So 1.5 lakh jobs every year, why not compete? The pool is so vast. So I would suggest that they start writing competitive exams. Somewhere you will see success if you have the requisite aptitude for it.
Great.
Sir, as far as I go personally, I have tried to put out my number and email address. I do get about 10-15 candidates getting in touch. But secondly, I think, say platforms like Manu or other platforms which exist, this is a good meeting place for officers and candidates. These kind of platforms should be used and leveraged. Say there's a talk every week. I think Manu, every 1-2 weeks I'm hearing of some officer going and talking to the candidates. Come and attend the sessions. You get a different perspective. Sometimes information is shared, and if they're young candidates like me, we can share our own experience because it's immediately relevant. I have just taken the exam. If they're slightly older officers, use them for inspiration, use them for a means to trace your career path. So do all of this. To candidates that have seriously studied engineering, stay with engineering. Country needs very good engineers. Go to ISRO, go to all our premier institutions. Candidates like me who only went to engineering because हमारे पास choice नहीं था. This is your opportunity to come explore your interests. I myself have chosen anthropology as my optional, very different from what I studied, but I was very happy studying it. To learn about evolution and about the culture of different societies, etc. It was very enlightening for me. And I regretted not taking arts in my graduation. तो आप अपने aptitude को judge करिए. If you have an aptitude for maths and science and engineering, you should stay with engineering. Again, we need good doctors, engineers in this country. But if you only did that because your parents didn't give you a choice, or you thought that at that time we only have 2 choices and choose करना है, this is your chance to explore yourself. For the first time in your life, you will learn about so much that kahin na kahin you will find your passion. So I would suggest that come out, explore the syllabus, and you will be rewarded for it.